Namaskar and good morning. Esteemed dignitaries on the dais, senior government officials, distinguished policymakers, administrators, educationists, renowned industry and thought leaders, global academics, participating delegates, students and exhibitors from top-of-the-line Indian and foreign institutions, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the FICCI, the 19th FICCI Higher Education Summit 2024, organized by Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FICCI, in association with Ministry of Education, Government of India, and Global Conferences and Exhibition. The FICCI Higher Education Summit holds a distinguished position as an annual conference of significant importance in India's higher education landscape. Since its inception, the FICCI Higher Education Summit has been at the forefront for contemporary deliberation surrounding the transformation and evolution of global higher education ecosystem. It is an absolute honor to have such a distinguished personalities and experts from the education sector gathered under one roof to discuss the theme that is critical to the future of education globally, the changing paradigms of higher education in global landscape. And I would request Ms. Jyoti Vij to kindly do the honors of welcoming our guest of honor, Ms. Cindy Cameron, with a green certificate. Ladies and gentlemen, the Green Certificate is a FICCI initiative wherein a grove of 6 trees will be planted in the name of our special guest at Songmo, Sikkim for ecotourism. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for kindly doing the honors. And to formally inaugurate today's proceedings, I would now like to invite Ms. Jyoti Vij, Director General FICCI, to deliver the welcome address. Let's put our hands together to welcome ma'am.
Thank you. A very warm welcome to all of you at the 19th FICCI Higher Education Summit on the theme Changing Paradigms of the Higher Education in the Global Landscape. And I'm very delighted to welcome Ms. Lindy Cameron, CBOBE, a British High Commissioner to India, who has graciously agreed to deliver the special address at this occasion. Of course, our thanks to Dr. Vidya, who chairs the FICCI Higher Education Committee and Pro-Chancellor Symbiosis International University, as also Dr. Sekar Viswanathan, past co-chair, FICCI Higher Education Committee and Vice President, VIT. Without the support of the two people here, we wouldn't have been able to put together this great event. Thank you so much for your contribution, as always. I'd also like to welcome and acknowledge the presence of the thought leaders, the senior government officials, and higher education leaders from India and abroad who are present here today. Education is not just a tool for personal growth, but a fundamental driver for societal and economic advancement. As we gather here today, I believe it is an opportune time to reflect on the key shifts that are taking place in the higher education globally and the path that India must chart to remain at the forefront of the global economy. In the recent years, the global education landscape has undergone tremendous transformation. According to OECD, the number of students pursuing tertiary education worldwide has more than doubled in over 2 decades. So from about 100 million students in 2000 now to nearly 235 million in 2021. The growth really speaks volumes about the increasing significance of higher education. But it also highlights the gap between the supply and the demand, and especially the quality of the education that needs to be provided globally. India, of course, is strategically carving its place on the global education map. The India of the 21st century is young, ambitious, aspirational, and eager to engage and lead the bridge which is there, the gap between the developed and the developing economies. Recognizing the crucial connection between the education and the economy, the FICCI Higher Education Committee has been dedicatedly working for the past 2 decades to achieve the national vision of establishing India as a global hub of education and research. And this involves a careful mix of domestic reforms, strategic international partnerships, and ensuring a thorough and dynamic approach for our education initiatives. Over the years, of course, FICCI has submitted several recommendations, representations to the government on critical areas of regulation, quality benchmarking, research, internationalization, innovative funding, etc. The National Education Policy 2020 has set ambitious goals to transform India into a global knowledge hub by focusing on multidisciplinary education, research, and innovation. As India envisions becoming a developed nation by 2047 and the mission of Viksit Bharat 2047, the focus has to be on creating a skilled, future-ready workforce for emerging industries such as AI, clean energy, and biotechnology, ensuring India's global competitiveness, and that is where the higher education has to really focus on. But of course, while the challenges are significant, there are opportunities as well. The government's focus on digital transformation of education through initiatives like the National Digital University, the eVidya program, all of these are commendable. With the digital tools and platforms, we can actually democratize education, provide access to high-quality learning resources for students who are in the remotest corner of the country. And as we look ahead, we must recognize that the future of higher education will be shaped by our ability to adapt, innovate, and collaborate. The 19th FICCI Higher Education Summit offers that platform to the policymakers, educators, and industry leaders to exchange ideas and solutions that will shape the future of education in India and across the globe. There are two reports that will be released in a while, which is, the one is FICCI EY Parthenon Report 2024 on the research ecosystem within Indian higher education. And then there is a FICCI KPMG report 2024 on financing higher education ecosystem in India. These will, of course, be highlighting several challenges, opportunities, and other initiatives that need to be taken to give a further boost to this segment. I urge all of you here today to think beyond conventional boundaries and envision an education system that is inclusive, future-ready, and globally connected. Thank you once again, everybody, for joining in, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for those warm words of welcome and setting the tone for the day. And now it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Vidya Vyarabdekar, Chair of the FICCI Higher Education Committee and Pro-Chancellor of the Symbiosis International University for the theme address. Dr. Vidya is a trailblazer in higher education and a pivotal voice in shaping the future of education in India and beyond. So let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Dr. Vidya Vyarabdekar.
A very good morning to the august gathering of academia, industry leaders, faculty members, and my dear students, and august dais as well. Ms. Lindy Cameron, British High Commissioner to the Republic of India, Mrs. Jyoti Vij, Director General of FICCI, the odd man out amongst three women, my friend Sekar Viswanathan, Vice President VIT, and I can see many friends who we meet only once in a year. I think we need to do that more often. It's FICCI that brings us together here since the last few years in this auditorium and earlier at the FICCI auditorium. Nevertheless, it's really heartening to see a large participation of people from across India as well as from across the world. We have friends who've come from the US, from Africa, from UK, from Spain and many other countries, and of course friends from all the corners of India. FICCI, as it does in the higher education sector, as Jyoti ma'am has already mentioned, that it's a body of advocacy, and I'm very glad that many of the deliberations and discussions that have taken place in conferences like these We saw them actually encapsulated in the new education policy that was rolled out in 2020. So we're happy that we are heard, not just heard, but also some things that we have advocated have come out in the new education policy. As regards this conference, changing paradigms of higher education in the global landscape. And let me inform some of my international delegates who are here that the changing landscape doesn't limit itself to the Indian higher education landscape, but obviously all of us have seen this landscape being changed, especially after what happened in 2020 and 2021. I think all of us never ever embrace technology as much as what we do today. Some of us who were digitally illiterate now are digitally literate. And of course, students are way ahead, but I can also see faculty members across institutions now very competent with the use of technology. And digital transformations have not just taken place at an individual level, but also at an organizational level, and the kind of change that has happened across institutions across the world, organizations across the world, especially in the higher education sector, and I would mention the school education sector as well. We had these discussions last evening at the Vice Chancellor's Roundtable, and I'm very glad, Jyoti ma'am, to inform you that excellent discussions took place, and I think what we will come out with is a white paper that FICCI can submit to not just the Ministry of Education, but the Ministry of Information Technology as well, because we also need to bring both these ministries together. Just in the morning, I was discussing with Ritika from the British Council that online education, EdTech education, distance education, I think we need to demystify that as well. And I'm glad that British Council is taking this, very important topic, especially at the, in the Indian landscape at a conference later in January of 2025. But something that all of us as academia need to discuss and deliberate. And I'm very happy that there will be a session on EdTech specifically in the next 2 days. Research collaborations is something that I think all of us use this lingo, publications, all the time with our faculty members, sometimes pressurize them to publish just because we have to climb up the ladder in the rankings. But honestly, if you ask me, a teacher is a teacher who's popular in class, who teaches well, and also, of course, publishes. But because research collaborations now are so important, we have and see so many of our foreign partners collaborating with Indian universities for joint research. And I always say that India is like a laboratory for them. The problems are plenty. We need partners to find solutions. And all of us do this at our universities. And there is going to be a session immediately on research collaborations. Internationalization of higher education, a topic that is very, very close to my heart. And we see this great change again post-NEP 2020. See so many of our universities collaborating with universities across the world, not just for mobility of students and faculty, but more engagements on dual degrees, joint degrees, and also establishing foreign campuses in India and Indian campuses overseas. Glad to see IIT Delhi, IIT Madras in Abu Dhabi and Zanzibar respectively, Symbiosis in Dubai, and of course IIFT moving to Dubai, and I heard soon IIM Ahmedabad will also move to Dubai. So it's really a proud feeling when you go overseas and see Indian campuses outside catering to the needs of the local population and the large Indian expat population. And while that's happening, we also see foreign partners coming in not just into the gift city with Wollongong and Deakin, but now Southampton coming here, right here in Delhi, in Gurgaon. So I think internationalization has paved its way from what it was earlier a few decades ago with just a few exchange programs to something very concrete, something very solid. And I think in a globalized world, in the global landscape, we need to see this paradigm shift of the higher education also internationalized and globalized. For all this to happen, I think faculty and students are the most important stakeholders. And we've always mentioned students, and many of you who are sitting in the audience, all of us are here for you. But nevertheless, faculty plays an important role because finally the drivers of this change or the changing landscape are going to be the faculty members. And many of us practice this bottoms-up approach instead of a top-down approach, where governance should be not just of the management, but it should be a participatory governance of involving not just faculty members, but students as well. And I'm glad that this session is also going to be very interesting, covering the governance of higher education institutions and the role of faculty members. When all of this is spoken about, the whole changing landscape is going to be discussed. How can you forget? How do you finance higher education? And can we look at newer models of financing? Unfortunately, today, at least the private sector in the Indian higher education landscape, for some of our international delegates to know, is almost fully financed to tuition fees of students. And can we look at models of alternative financing models for higher education institutions? And this has been a point of discussion at every FICCI conference. I think we need to put a few heads together to create a white paper and submit it to the government, because we certainly need new models of financing higher education. If we really want to expand, if we want to take the gross enrollment ratio to 50, an ambitious number, I think more and more educational institutions, higher education institutions need to come up. And for this, newer models need to be discussed, and I think FICCI can play a major role. Industry-academia partnerships, we always talk about. Again, very deep engagements with industry and academia, not just for internships and placements and experiential learning, but now we see industries putting up large laboratories on university campuses. So something that we spoke about a few years ago of how can industries come and help universities by actually physically creating assets on university campuses. We can actually see this happening on many university campuses across India. Again, a model that maybe our international partners can emulate, if they don't have. And this is something that we all feel proud of. From the city that I come from, Pune, not just an education hub, but also an industrial city. I think we are more deeply engaged with our industry partners. But I would like to see FICCI taking this forward to the rural areas, to the sectors that don't have as much of industry base. How can we develop these industry partnerships, more deeper than what they are today? And eventually, when you discuss all this, a thought comes to our minds that what is the real role of a university? Is it just employment generation? Is it just skilling the younger population? Is it to, develop new knowledge through research and innovation? Or it is far beyond all this? And I always believe that creating good characters, good personalities of the youth that joins us, so that they become responsible citizens of not just our country, but responsible citizens of the world, should be the larger role of universities. And I think our age-old universities like Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila did all this, right? And therefore attracted a large number of international scholars and students to join the portals of those universities. I think we are now reviving back this age-old concept through the new education policy of creating Vishwaguru, India as a Vishwaguru, not just spreading knowledge, but creating young and youthful people as responsible citizens of the world. So let me stop here and once again welcome all of you for this wonderful academic retreat over the next 2 days. Thank you very much, Lindy, for joining us today, and thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for always supporting this initiative. God bless.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for your insightful words and encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, Ms. Cameron, has been an advocate for fostering educational partnerships and global cooperation. As the British High Commissioner, Ms. Cameron's diplomatic priorities include fostering closer ties with the UK and India, particularly in key areas such as education, trade, climate action, and technology. She has been a strong advocate for enhancing educational exchanges and research collaborations between British and Indian institutions. Recognizing the importance of education in building a strong bilateral relations, And under her leadership, the UK-India relationship has focused on deepening collaboration in higher education, promoting knowledge exchange, and increasing communities for Indian students to study in the UK through scholarships and partnerships. Miss Lindy Cameron was awarded the Commander of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in 2013 and later received the Companion of the Order of Bath, CB, for her distinguished public service. These honours reflect her outstanding contributions to the UK government, particularly in the areas of international development and national security. It is now my privilege to invite Ms. Lindy Cameron, CBOE, the British High Commissioner to the Republic of India, to share her thoughts with her special address. So let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for a fantastic welcome. It's a genuine honour to be here with all of you today. Thank you in particular to Jyoti Ma'am and to Dr. Rajesh Pant, Director and Head of Education and Skills at FICCI, and the whole team at FICCI for inviting me here today. It's also wonderful to be on a panel with such distinguished panellists, and I would join my colleague in appreciating the fact that it's lovely to be on a majority female panel for once as well. So thank you very much indeed. Well done to all of you. I'm also especially delighted to be here because, as I always remind my colleague Alison Barrett, the Director of the British Council, my very first job was working in a boarding school, and so it's lovely to be here today with a fantastic group of inspirational educators. And I'm especially delighted to be here at such a special moment for UK-India education ties. The government's work in implementing the National Education Policy 2020, the subsequent signing of the mutual recognition of academic qualifications between our two countries, is enabling the UK-India education relationship to expand and grow both at pace and at scale. And significantly, the government's leadership of the pioneering national education policy is doing exactly what this conference is all about, changing paradigms in the higher education landscape in India. So today I wanted to highlight 3 changing paradigms in higher education. Firstly, more and more universities are taking education to students wherever they are. We are no longer constrained by geography and by the built environment. According to UNESCO, the global number of students pursuing tertiary education more than doubled between 2020 and 2022. The increasing number of students needs greater choice at an affordable level so they can fulfill their aspirations and develop a global mindset, and indeed the intercultural competences needed to join an increasingly global workforce. That is exactly the kind of thing the University of Southampton will offer when they open their India campus in Gurugram next summer. Southampton is a member of the UK's Russell Group, a double top 100 university with great history and tradition of excellence in education and deep, deep ties with India. Their campus will contribute to the globalization, the internationalization of the Indian higher education landscape, and will provide Indian students with opportunities for international exposure right there at home in India. We in the UK have really significant experience of running international branch campuses with 38 around the world. And of course, as my colleague has mentioned, Indian universities are also all over the world. There's Amity University in London, IIT Madras in Tanzania, and indeed this week Symbiosis University welcoming its first students to the campus in Dubai. So congratulations to Dr. Vidya Yardekar, Chair of FICCI's Higher Education Committee and Pro-Chancellor of Symbiosis University, who's here today for achieving this milestone. Through branch campuses, both India and the UK are forging new models. But we mustn't forget that other forms of education partnerships have also been enabled by the National Education Policy 2020 and the subsequent simplification of the education regulatory framework. The Transnational Education Guidelines launched in 2022 have led to an explosion of new and joint degrees. We counted 67 partnerships in 2022 alone, and with the British Council's close to £3 million investment in seed funding, 155 UK-India higher education institutes through 93 new partnerships, we're confident this number will only increase, and indeed will have increased when we release the refreshed data next year. This work has been absolutely instrumental in facilitating jointly developed undergraduate and postgraduate courses between UK and Indian universities, laying the foundations for further innovations and enabling us to work together to tackle global issues. And there are great examples, whether that's Glasgow University and IISER Pune, working on co-development of collaborative online international learning, STEM workshops, resources, and formative assessment for initial teacher education programs at UOG and IISER's partner colleges, including innovative creative assessment tools like Flipgrid videos and peer feedback. Whether that's Durham University and Amrita University, who have created a joint master's in water and sustainability, using the amazing live-in labs of Amrita University for community immersion, and a funded visit to Glasgow in Scotland to address the technical aspects of the challenge. There are far more examples I could give you, whether that's joint courses being developed on disaster resilience, climate justice, urban regeneration, green chemistry, arts, humanities, the list just goes on. So we also hope that this new development will encourage even more British students to study here in India, which brings me to my second changing paradigm. The second changing paradigm is that mobility flows will become increasingly multi-directional. I know India has a target to welcome 500,000 international students, 500,000 international students, to India by 2035. And we in the UK would like to see many, many more young students from all four nations of the United Kingdom to come to India. We want our students to better understand modern India, to support opportunities for cross-cultural learning and understanding between our countries. We want them to experience the vibrant culture, the traditions, to learn from India's enterprise culture, and to drive our mutual prosperity. Together, we've launched a new young professional scheme, Visa Route, to support that journey from India, from the UK to India, and the British Council is developing a new initiative to complement the UK's existing touring programme, which we hope will significantly increase the numbers over the next few years. Young people have a unique opportunity to develop their research and digital skills in the context of the digital transformation that's taking place at scale. But they also have the opportunity to do this in some of the most community-focused and impact-driven universities in the world. India is the best represented nation globally in the 2024 edition of the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings. These rankings assess universities' contribution to each of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. And many of India's universities stand out as world-leading when scrutinised against those demanding SDGs, particularly in areas that are vital to India's wider social and economic goals, that goal of developed India by 2047. So finally, that brings me to the third and final changing paradigm. And that, I think, is a more holistic, more strategic approach to higher education, which connects research, mobility, and innovation, which places the university right at the heart of the thriving ecosystem, working with community and business and with other universities together. The British Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, was here in India in July, less than 3 weeks after the formation of the new British government. And he announced the Technology and Security Initiative, which will help us in the UK and India to continue to build on our two countries' existing bilateral research, science, and innovation, both in terms of infrastructure and in terms of relationships, to support high quality, high impact research and innovation. And I know there was a great panel only last night talking about the challenges to technology in this context. India is the UK's second research collaborator already, but with India rapidly growing up the ranks of the Global Innovation Index, now at 39th, and the UK already one of the leading countries for innovation and startups, I think the importance of enterprise, including creative enterprise, in the UK and India, 63 million enterprises, and the launch of the Technology Security Initiative, we are natural partners to learn from each other. And I have been absolutely struck in the 6 months that I've been here as High Commissioner by the extraordinary buzz and the extraordinary depth and breadth of the collaboration. I spend every week tripping over universities, talking to each other in my residence, watching the scale of the collaborations. It is just extraordinary to see the breadth and the depth of that partnership and the genuine interest in learning from each other, whether that's in the context or whether that's in the innovation. It's breathtaking. The UK's International Science Partnership Fund is a partnership between our two science ministries, supporting early and senior career researchers from the UK, Japan, and India. UK IERI is coming up for its second decade of supporting collaboration in priority research areas, and I've met some people who benefited from that. And I had the pleasure of announcing UKRI's latest portfolio of grants, nearly £20 million worth of grants, just a few weeks ago, with a serried rank of secretaries from across government in doing so. So there is so much collaboration. I could go on, but I won't. This is a testimony, I think, to the great trust and commitment to the relationship between our two countries. We have a lot of history, but we have a huge future together. And I think the challenge is to try and focus on what modern India and modern Britain can do together, what the sectors can do together, what our people can do together. We are joined by an extraordinary network and connection, the living bridge of people in the UK, the diaspora from India, but we are also joined, I hope, in the future by the connection of people who want to come from the UK to India. And I have no doubt that these changing paradigms in higher education are going to positively impact not just Indian students, but actually indirectly students in every corner of the world. So as the British High Commissioner to India, and indeed the first woman in that role, which I'm very proud of, it's such an exciting moment to be here. And I am profoundly excited to play my part in bringing together two great education cultures, two great education systems, working alongside my amazing colleagues at the British Council. I am really certain the 2 days of this summit will be opening new avenues of collaboration between India and international players, not only us, but definitely including us, in higher education internationally. So I wanted to wish you all the very best for a fantastic summit. I wanted to give a huge shout out to my colleagues at the British Council who do fantastic work, and a particular thanks to FICCI for bringing us together. Our new British Secretary of State for Education, Bridget Phillipson, said in one of her earliest speech in the job, that she would like to see UK universities working more internationally, and where better to do that than here in India with Indian universities. We want to deepen existing partnerships. We want to drive new partnerships, because I genuinely believe, and I know she does too, that by joining forces in education, we can strengthen the bridges between our two nations to a fantastic effect for both of us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for that illuminating address. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to a very significant moment of this conference, the release of the two reports. These reports will offer valuable insights into the current trends, challenges, and opportunities in the education sector. I would also like to invite on stage Dr. Rajesh, Director and Head Education and Skills, FICCI, for the report release. And for the first report that we are going to release by EY, may I also invite Dr. Avantika Tomar, Partner EY, Parthenon. So we are now going to release the FICCI EY Knowledge Report 2024. Requesting our dignitaries to do the honors. Thank you very much indeed for doing the honors. Thank you, Dr. Avantika Tomar, for joining us. I would now like to invite on stage Mr. Narayana Ramaswamy, partner KPMG India, for the release of the FICCI KMG report on alternate financing in higher education 2024. And let's put our hands together on the release of the FICCI KPMG report on alternate financing in higher education 2024. Thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy, for joining us. I would request Dr. Rajesh to kindly stay back on the stage, as it is now time to celebrate excellence. FICCI has long been a pioneer in recognizing the outstanding contributions in the higher education sector. This year, we are proud to present the 10th FICCI Higher Education Excellence Awards, honoring institutions and individuals who have set new benchmarks in innovation, research, and leadership in education. Let us acknowledge their achievement with great enthusiasm. I would request our dignitaries to kindly step forward to do the honors of presenting the awards. And the first category of the awards is
the way for the leaders of tomorrow. We gather today to recognize the pioneers, visionaries, and change makers in this vital sector. The 10th edition of the FICCI Higher Education Excellence Awards 2024 is a celebration of those who have made a profound impact on the educational landscape. We honor the remarkable individuals and institutions who have redefined education and transformed lives through their unwavering commitment to excellence. Our first category, Excellence in Creating Employment, acknowledges institutions that go beyond knowledge sharing by actively shaping careers and fostering opportunities for growth. These institutions have played a pivotal role in preparing students for the workforce, driving individual success and contributing to economic progress. Nominations for public institutions: Delhi Technological University, Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Bilaspur, and National Institute of Technology, Meghalaya.
And ladies and gentlemen, the winner for this category is National Institute of Meghalaya. May I invite them to kindly come
We
up on
proudly
stage.
recognize the National Institute of Technology, Meghalaya for their outstanding accomplishment in the public institutions category.
We are conducting the orientation program for 30 days. In the orientation program, it is first is academics. We are growing them in physics and particularly the mathematics because they are reading the engineering. And in the other half of the day, we are training them regarding their career opportunities, regarding they have to be associated with the entire system of the institute, and they have.
And the next category of awards is
Nominations from private institutions: Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, New Delhi Institute of Management, and Vishwakarma Institute of Information Technology.
the winners for the excellence in creating employment private institutions is New Delhi Institute of Management.
The New Delhi Institute of Management stands out for their exceptional work in the private institutions category.
objectives over the last 2 years. 98.2 to 98.7 has been our average, and internships have been 100%. And in addition to the mandatory 8 weeks internships, our students have been doing live projects with various companies, which range from a week to even a month, and they are given additional credits for doing those live projects and working with various companies.
Congratulations to you. And the next award is
Special
Private
jury
category.
recognition goes to Vishwakarma Institute of Information Technology for their outstanding contributions.
We have a very good connect with industry, which are giving us hands-on industry projects, and this number is now increased in 23-24. Similarly, students involved in industry projects are also more, because third year and final year both the students are involved.
And the next category of awards is Excellence in Globalization of Education, Public Institutions.
In the Excellence in Globalization category, we recognize institutions that have embraced diversity,
The next category is Excellence in Globalization of Education.
expanded global connections, and created inclusive learning environments, preparing students to thrive in an interconnected world. The only nomination from public institution, Rashtriya Raksha University. Nominations from private institutions, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Parul University, and World University of Design.
And the winner for this category is Amity University, Uttar Pradesh.
We honor Amity University, Uttar Pradesh with this award for demonstrating excellence in the private institutions
Let's keep
category.
the applause
We have
going
been
for Amity
continuously doing,
University, Uttar Pradesh.
which, and a partner of Ministry of External Affairs, largest partner of Ministry of External Affairs, alumni across the globe. But what I think that distinguishes MIT from rest of the institution is that our concentration on research and on inward mobility of the students, as well as on the external mobility of the students.
And the Special Jury Recognition Award in this category is presented to Parul University.
Special jury recognition goes to Parul University for their noteworthy initiatives.
We wish to bridge the gap that is actually there between what the industry is needing and what we are actually producing. So by the virtue of establishing this center, we just wanted to bridge that gap in a way of producing a skilled workforce which can be
So let's put
employed
our
at
hands
different
together
places.
for Parul University. And the next category of awards is
The Excellence in Institutional Social Responsibility category stands as a testament to the belief that education extends beyond classrooms, positively impacting society at large. Nominations from public institutions. Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. School of Allied Health Sciences, VMRF-TU. And School of Behavioral Sciences and Forensic Investigations, Rashtriya Raksha University.
And the winner for this category is Gondwana University, Gadchiroli.
We are delighted to celebrate the exceptional work of Gondwana University, Gadchiroli in the public institutions category.
So what we have done, we have prepared a training module on forest conservation, forest management, forest biodiversity preparation plan, like how you are going to process minor forest produce, how you are going to collect them, compile them, how you are going to ensure their grade and quality, how you are going to process and market them, how you are going to store them, and the ultimate end result is the forward linkage.
And let's put our hands together for Gondwana University,
where the
Gadchiroli.
major object is the upliftment of the local livelihood.
Now nominees from the private institutions.
Nominations from private institutions. Datta Mekhe Institute of Higher Education and Research deemed to be university. Malla Reddy Institute of Medical Sciences. And Manav Rachna International Institute of Research and Studies, Faridabad. We proudly honor the Datta Mekhe Institute of Higher Education and Research for their exceptional achievement in the private institutions category.
We believe that sustainability is the main issue actually, and we need to scale
Let's
it up
put our hands
also.
together
So for
for
that now
Datta
what we
Mekhe
have done, we have
Institute of Higher
started partnership
Education and
with the local
Research.
MLAs there and local leadership in that area. And it worked wonderfully for last years because major health camps and other initiatives, it's like a win-win-win situation for them as well as for community as well as for institutions.
So ladies and gentlemen, please keep the applause going. And we move on to the next category of awards, which is Excellence in Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
The Excellence in Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship category celebrates institutions pushing the boundaries of knowledge, driving breakthroughs and fostering a spirit of innovation, while also empowering entrepreneurship. Nominations from public institutions: Anand Agricultural University, Indira Gandhi Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Tyagarajar College of Engineering.
And the winner for this category is Anand Agricultural University.
We honor Anand Agricultural University with this award for setting new standards in public institutions category.
Now, agriculture market intelligence is an area which has not been touched sufficiently so far. So, in that we have focused on conducting comprehensive research and capacity building, and second on agri-food entrepreneurship incubation, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship in agriculture and allied sectors.
And the special jury recognition award is presented to Indira Gandhi Krishi Vishwavidyalaya.
Special jury recognition goes to Indira Gandhi Krishi Vishwavidyalaya for their remarkable initiatives.
Research Management Information System and eHeart. This is one of the very important app which is developed by our university, and we have been managing the entire system through Research Management Information System, sir. And IKV in collaboration with Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, sir. We are doing wonderful job through mutation bidding, and the IGQ has played a very pivotal role in managing and reviving the forgotten heritage. This is very important, sir. Forgotten heritage of traditional varieties across the state, and one of the mutants, sir, which is called Vikram TCR. It has been developed by us, and now this variety is leading MTU 1010, which is one of the most dominating variety of the country, not only of Chhattisgarh, sir.
And the next category of awards is Excellence in Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Nominations from private institutions: Parul University, SRM IST, Kattan Kulathur, India, and Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore.
And the winners are Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore.
The award goes to Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore, for their work in the private institutions category.
13 of the subjects already in the QS World Ranking subject, and many of the subjects in the top 200 in terms of the subject ranking, and QS Sustainability rank in the 449. And this is the major focus. What we are trying to address is all the 17 sustainable development goals. So through the research excellence, innovation and other things has resulted in terms of the field-weighted level of the citation impact and the scholarly output and also the citation count you can look at.
Let's put our hands together for Vellore Institute of Technology.
Continuously focus on the sustainable development goals.
And the next category of the awards is University of the Year, Emerging Public Institutions.
The prestigious University of the Year Emerging Award recognizes institutions that have demonstrated outstanding growth, innovation, and a commitment to excellence in their early years. Nominations from public institutions: Central University of Haryana, Kamadhenu University, and Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology.
And the winners for this category are Central University of Haryana.
We are delighted to present this award to the Central University of Haryana for showing remarkable progress in the public institutions category.
Scopus Index journals, and we have more than 2,000 research papers are published from this Central University of Haryana.
And ladies and gentlemen, the special jury recognition in this category is presented to Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology.
Special jury recognition goes to Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology for their impressive initiatives.
Teaching learning resource is one of the important parameters in our NIRF framework. The parameter carries the T8% overall. In the last NIRF, in TLR category, we were in top 10, surpassing number of IITs and NITs, so we were in top 10. That shows the level of education we impart on our students.
And the next category of the awards is University of the Year, Emerging Private Institutions.
Nominations from private institutions: Shiv Nadar University, Sri Sri University, and Uttaranchal University.
And the winners are Shiv Nadar University.
This award goes to Shiv Nadar University for their exceptional achievement in the private institutions category.
We have a dedicated project on institutional and social responsibility. We are situated in a place called Dadri, which is a community of fairly low sustainable development outcomes. So we have a project called Community Connect, which focuses on health, education, and women's empowerment. And we work within the 8 villages surrounding the university.
Moving on to the next category of award, which is the University of the Year, Established Public Institutions.
In the University of the Year Established category, we honor institutions with a long-standing history of excellence and leadership in education. These universities have consistently demonstrated academic rigor, innovation, and a commitment to shaping the future through quality education. Nominations from public institutions: Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, a Central University, Bilaspur; Kurukshetra University; Mahatma Phule
And the winner
Krishi
for this
Vidyapeeth,
category.
Rahuri.
And the winner for this category is Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapeeth,
This award is
Rahuri.
presented to Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapeeth, Rahuri for consistently demonstrating excellence in the public institutions category.
Gradation of the knowledge and skill. We regularly update our faculty, our students through the various workshops, conferences, maybe at the national level, international level, and also the faculty also. So we have organized these various capacity building programs, training programs every year for the students and faculty.
Now the nominees for the private institutions.
Nominations from private institutions: Mangalayatan University, Aligarh; Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal; and the North Cap University.
And the winners are Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal.
The winner is Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal, for earning recognition of their sustained excellence in the private institutions category.
1953 he has started the medical college in Manipal. It is the first self-financing private medical college in India. That too with a rocky land called a Mandupalla. Now we are calling it as a Manipal. So he set the ball rolling for establishment of a university in Manipal during 1953, and we were able to do it in 1993.
Professor Dr. Manjul Bhargava.
Congratulations to you, and ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to the category of the Jury Choice Awards. And I have the proud privilege in announcing the Personality of the Year 2024, which goes to Dr. Manjul Bhargava.
Bhargava, a world-renowned mathematician and fields medalist, is recognized for his groundbreaking work in number theory and his profound impact on the field of education. As a professor at Princeton University, he is acclaimed for his pioneering contributions to algebraic number theory, particularly
And please keep
in
the
elliptic
applause
curves,
going for
quadratic
Dr.
fields,
Manjul
and
Bhargava.
higher composition laws. His innovative research has earned him prestigious accolades, including the Fields Medal in 2014 and India's Padma Bhushan in 2015. Beyond his remarkable academic achievements, Professor Dr. Manjul Bhargava has played a pivotal role in shaping India's National Education Policy 2020, advocating for the integration of critical thinking and problem-solving skills into mathematics education. He has championed a holistic, interdisciplinary approach to learning, fostering creativity and collaboration in education. Passionate about making mathematics accessible and inspiring, Dr. Bhargava works tirelessly to nurture future generations of mathematicians and thinkers, blending traditional knowledge with modern scientific insights. His contributions continue to influence the future of education globally, inspiring young minds to embrace mathematics. FICCI proudly honored Professor Dr. Manjul Bhargava as Personality of the Year 2024 for his outstanding academic achievements and his profound impact on India's educational reforms and global academia. Professor Dr. Anil Gupta is...
And I would now request Dr. Manjul Bhargava to kindly say a few words to inspire all our young participants present here at this conference. And before I hand over the mic to Sir, let's once again put our hands together to congratulate Dr. Manjul Bhargava.
Namaskar. Thank you very much to FICCI for this very kind recognition. Thanks also to FICCI for all the work it does for over 100 years in advocating and promoting good policy that transforms India, that makes positive change for India and globally. So thanks very much to FICCI for that. And thanks very much to the members of the dais and all the distinguished members and friends in the audience who are here for this conference on higher education organized by FICCI. We're all here because we care about moving the needle on higher education in India and globally, and we're all here because of that. And so thanks to everyone, we're all working together to make these changes that we truly desire. writing the national education policy was truly a labor of love. I remember the very first meeting that we had of the committee on writing the new national education policy, headed by Dr. Kasturirangan. And we were talking about what should be the goal of the new education policy. And there were many suggestions. We want to move the needle forward, we want to improve things. But eventually we came to the conclusion that we want to write a policy that helps ensure that India's education system becomes second to none in the world. And that was finally the goal that we agreed upon. And that's also what really made it a labor of love. I was coming from the US every month for the meetings, and then after the fourth month I realized that if we're really trying to make it second to none in the world, can't just come once a month. So I ended up taking off a year, leave without pay from Princeton University to spend a year in India to work full-time on policy, which was a little bit different than my previous job of being a mathematician and being a mathematics teacher. But not so different, because the goal was to try and solve some of the hardest and most important problems in the world. So we ended up having literally hundreds of consultations over that year around the world and also across India to try and collect the global best practices that we could bring to India and adapt to India's reality and India's context. And that's what I think we ended up doing. And of course, the saying goes that a policy is only as good as its implementation. And so that's why I'm so grateful to everyone here, because we're all having that goal of trying to make India's higher education system second to none in the world. And so I seek everyone's help and blessing and collaboration to really try and implement this policy so that really India can move in becoming a world thought leader again. Two of the really significant recommendations of the national education policy for higher education ended up being, if I just summarize, first is to really move towards large multidisciplinary research institutions. History has shown that some of the very best, actually the very best institutions that have ever existed in training students and creating jobs and creating thought leaders have been institutions like Nalanda in ancient India, to in the modern day, the Ivy League, institutions such as Oxford and Cambridge. What do they have in common? They were large multidisciplinary research universities. You can only have a really good higher education institution when that institution is also engaged in the highest quality knowledge creation across fields. And for students to be able to see the relations across fields, that is the need of the 21st century. We need multi-skilled students who can make and understand relationships across fields. And so moving towards not just single stream universities, but large multidisciplinary universities where students can learn from each other across fields was one of the key recommendations of the national education policy. I'll mention maybe one other key aspect for higher education in the national education policy was to really create incentives, motivational initiatives to incentivize, to motivate faculty to constantly innovate. Innovate in research, innovate in teaching, innovate in service. We saw a lot of the universities that have been given awards today have been doing exactly that, creating incentives for the faculty and for the students to innovate in research, in teaching, and in service to the community. This can be done through salary increases, grants, promotions, but creating incentives to really encourage both faculty and students to innovate and getting students involved in those innovations. India is so full of creative people. We just need to create the structure to foster that creativity. So we really seek everyone's help here in trying to implement these aspects of the national education policy. A lot of those aspects have been talked about today, and a lot of the universities that have been given awards today have really been leading the way on these ideas of the policy. So thank you in advance for everything that you are doing and will be doing to advance the policy and to again make India's higher education system second to none in the world, so that India can be that Vishwaguru and really help move India forward and the world forward. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Namaskar.
Congratulations and thank you to Dr. Manjul Bhargava for the prestigious Personality of the Year Award for the year 2024. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege of announcing the Jury Choice Award for Lifetime Achievement, which is presented to Dr. Anil Gupta.
Lifetime Achievement Award, Professor Dr. Anil Gupta is a distinguished Indian scholar, environmentalist and grassroots innovator. As the founder of the Honeybee Network, he is widely recognized for his pioneering efforts in promoting grassroots innovations and fostering sustainable development, empowering rural communities and championing local creativity. A professor at IIM Ahmedabad, Dr. Gupta received the Padma Shri in 2004 for his exceptional contributions to society. He is celebrated for his work in rural innovation, social entrepreneurship, and biodiversity conservation, advocating for the protection of grassroots innovators' intellectual property and bridging the gap between formal science and traditional knowledge. The Honeybee Network is a movement dedicated to collecting, documenting, and promoting grassroots innovations across
And let's keep the
rural
applause
India.
going for
Through this
Dr.
initiative,
Anil Gupta,
Dr. Gupta has empowered
a Lifetime
thousands of
Achievement
rural
Awardee,
innovators, showcasing their ideas on a global platform and fostering knowledge sharing to drive inclusive development. His vision of creative communities highlights the crucial role of grassroots innovators in tackling societal challenges. Over the past 4 decades, Dr. Gupta's mentorship has inspired researchers, social entrepreneurs, and policymakers, transforming the lives of rural communities through self-reliance and creativity. FICCI proudly honors Professor Dr. Anil Gupta with the Lifetime Achievement Award for his lifelong dedication to grassroots innovation and sustainable development.
and I have the privilege in requesting Dr. Anil Gupta to kindly say a few words of inspiration.
Namaskar. At this age, awards really don't matter much. But I must say that this is special for the reason that few of the messages that I would like to convey will become possible today because of this platform that FICCI has created. I must acknowledge that IIM Ahmedabad gave me so much support for whatever I could do. Probably no institute would have given to any professor anywhere. I used to have 6-7 offices, lot of space, lot of rooms. So one day after a faculty meeting, a colleague said, Professor Gupta has a lot of staff. And I said, yes, the difference between me and that colleague was that he also did consultancy, I also did consultancy. He paid 90% to himself, I paid 90% to the staff. The reason was very simple. There are questions that you have, and for answering those questions, there will be no sponsor. If you don't invest in your ideas, others will not invest in your ideas either. I learned that early in my life. And therefore, those questions which I needed to answer about the way knowledge-rich, economically poor people survive and innovate, I needed to invest in that research myself. I remember when the Honeybee Network was set up, the term grassroots innovation did not exist in English language. Today it has become so popular that every country in the world is using this term. So sometimes misusing it also. But nevertheless, the potential of people, common people in solving problems creatively through their own genius was never recognized in the history. But it is being recognized. You will be happy to know that almost 24 Padma Shris have been given in the last 10 years to people who have come from very poor background, only because of their knowledge that they have put in. This also is an unprecedented step by the Indian government. Never before so many Padma Awards have gone to ordinary people who have solved extraordinary problems. Our privilege is that we were the first to recognize them through Honeybee Network. I would also like to mention that the conference, I set up several organizations, Rushdie in 93, and then we had a conference, international conference on creativity and innovation at grassroots at IMA in 97, which led to the establishment of GYAN, Gujarat Grassroots Innovation Augmentation Network, which has the purpose of that was to link innovation, investment, enterprise. That was the first incubator of grassroots innovation in the world. And what is remarkable is now that this conference has brought a lot of such people together. And the fifth conference, and I do not want to lose this opportunity to mention that I want to see many of you there, fifth conference of ICCIG.org will be at IMA in January 28 to 30 next year. And I hope that some of you will be there to celebrate the creativity of knowledge-rich, economically poor people. My few suggestions for the colleagues who are present here, particularly my younger colleagues, because the concept, the need for Vishwaguru, the concept of Vishwaguru is a great one. Will we achieve it if our upload to download ratio does not change? We download a lot. Please ask yourself how many MB of data you have downloaded in the last week or last month. And will they calculate this for the university? How much of upload is going on? Vishwaguru are those whose content you download. Not those who upload, those who download all the time. Whose content you download. That means they have uploaded their content, open content. And I think first suggestion, my request to all the leaders of higher education is, please monitor this ratio and change it. And insist that all assignment by the students, all theses, all projects, reports, everything is uploaded. If they are good quality, people will cite them. If they are bad quality, people will ignore them. But it will be the best way to help young people get recognition for what they think and what they do. There is no better way than this to create in a global community of knowledge sharing. This is one index which will help us a great deal. Second, I'm teaching a course to the Ph.D. students, about 300 Ph.D. students in one batch, and I have taught 4 batches of all CSR lab. And one of the things that I advise all the students, doctoral students, is how many references did you cite in your research with whom you did not agree? Very rare. And that's not good. We cannot promote higher education and we cannot be outstanding Vishwaguru unless and until you create niche for your own original thought. And that will be created when you disagree with those who have been the Matadhish, the high priest of the subject. That's how the new knowledge, new concepts are created. So second suggestion is encourage scholars. And as guides, all of you are guides of some student or the other, encourage students to have the courage of conviction, to disagree with someone whose ideas they think are obsolete and they would like to change them or transient them. That is second suggestion I would like to make. Third is very important. Again, I started Shodhyatras, as some of you might know. I have walked in every state of the country from Andaman to Gorej Valley, every state, more than once in many places. But then the students ask me, why don't we have a course at IMA which also requires us to walk and learn from common people? This is the only institute which teaches a course, Shodhyatra, where students have to voluntarily suffer. They pay to go through this course. It's a very competitive course, so only 25, 30 students get out of 500. And there's a bidding for it. And I take them to Himalaya to learn from 4 teachers. Teacher within, teacher around, teacher among common people, and teacher in nature. 4 teachers that whom we get to learn. I would recommend that every institution should have some courses which require immersive learning. Go and soil your hands and go and talk to the people. Once Gandhiji was asked by some students, we want to do some rural development work. Please advise us. Gandhiji said, I had never worked in rural areas. He was an urban, all through he spent his life in urban areas. But the student insisted, no, sir, please tell us. They thought that Gandhiji had answered to every question. Gandhiji said, all right, I cannot tell you what somebody else will do. If I were to do in rural areas, what I will do, I will tell you. So student said, okay, tell us. He said, let us say I want to work in a village and I want to work in dairy sector, livestock sector. I will find out the person whose cow gives the maximum milk and who keeps the animal very clean. I will sit down from morning till evening and document all the things that family does to make sure that the cow gives maximum milk. Then I will document the average producer's life. Closing the gap between them is my purpose of rural development. What a great lesson. He gave the lesson of learning from the best practices and the gap between the best and the average 100 years ago. We have ignored that. One more suggestion I would like to give. Every institution should throw challenge awards. Gandhiji announced an award on 24th July 1929, an award of 7,700 pounds at that time, which is equivalent to now 10 crores. You know for what? For a problem that he could not solve from 1920 to 1929. 10 years he wasted in trying to improve the design of a spinning wheel. But in 3 years that problem was solved when he announced this competition, and this led to the Peti Charkha, the one that moves like this. So challenge awards have a great role, and I think institutions should identify the wicked problems in the neighborhood, the problems which our people are suffering from, problems of a back-bending posture in paddy transplantation, problem of picking 2 leaves and a bud from the tea shrub of the tea garden and putting it against the gravity in the basket behind. A lady who does it 2,000 times, 3,000 times won't have pain here and here, she would have pain. The lady who does transplantation of paddy in a back-bending posture must have pain in the back. Why have we not solved? We can put 104 satellites in one launch. That is the capability India has. And yet, there are so many problems that our women, and particularly women, but also men, face in our rural areas. So we must identify the unmet needs in our society. We must do the benchmarking. I was listening to some college, some institutions who said we have identified 6 villages, 10 villages. No, please identify 600 villages, not 6 villages. You have thousands of students. Why satisfied with 6 villages? Please think of 650,000 villages are there in this country. We have such huge network of higher education institutions. All these villages must be taken up by some or the other institution so that we identify the unmet need and once for all try to overcome them in years to come. I thank you all for once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and once again, congratulations for the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award. And ladies and gentlemen, the next award that we are going to present now is being instituted for the first time and is being presented for the first time here at the 10th FICCI Higher Education Awards, which is the award for the Legendary Institutions Builder Award, and the award is presented to Mr. Azim Premji. And the receiving the award on his
Legendary
behalf is Ms.
Institution
Tejal
Builder
Patil,
Award
General Counsel,
honoring Mr.
Wipro.
Azim Premji, Chancellor Azim Premji University and Founder Chairman Wipro Limited, Legendary Institution Builder Award. Mr. Azim Premji is an inspiring leader, celebrated for his dual legacy as a successful business magnate and one of the world's most impactful philanthropists. As the founder chairman Wipro Limited, he is a visionary institution builder dedicated to reshaping India's educational landscape through his transformative efforts. His establishment of Azim Premji University in 2010 reflects his commitment to creating a just, equitable and sustainable society. The university is a pioneering institution dedicated to addressing India's critical challenges in education, public policy and development. Through the Azim Premji Foundation, founded in 2001, Mr. Premji has spearheaded initiatives aimed at improving public education in rural areas, training thousands of educators and fostering long-term systemic changes. His efforts have reshaped India's educational landscape with a strong focus on inclusivity and public welfare. Mr. Premji's legacy stands as a testament to ethical leadership and his unwavering dedication to creating lasting societal impact. FICCI is proud to honor Mr. Azim Premji with the Legendary Institution Builder Award for his visionary leadership and lasting contributions to nation building through institutions like Azim Premji University, a beacon of educational reform and hope for future generations. As we conclude the FICCI Higher Education Excellence Awards 2024, let us remember that education is not just about earning
And ladies and gentlemen, receiving the award on behalf of Mr. Asim Premji is Ms. Tejal Patil, General Counsel, Wipro. Congratulations to all our distinguished winners for this year. And we look forward to another year, more awards. And as we reach the end of the session, to extend our gratitude to all the dignitaries and participants, I would now like to invite Dr. Sekar Viswanathan, past co-chair FICCI Higher Education Committee and Vice President VIT, for the vote of thanks. And before that, I would like to request Ms. Tejal Patil to kindly say a few words on behalf of Mr. Asim Premji.
So I just want to convey a couple of things. One is Mr. Premji conveys his regrets that he couldn't be here in person to receive the award, but thank you, FICCI, for giving it to him. And the other thing is that he would like to dedicate his award, as he does with all awards, to all the associates at Wipro and the foundation for building that institution. Thank you.
Thank you. And now let's welcome Dr. Sekar Viswanathan, past co-chair FICCI Higher Education Committee and Vice President VIT, for the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Education is the most powerful weapon to change the world, said one of my favorite leaders, Nelson Mandela. All of you are here, part of education, having that most powerful weapon. I was really awestruck to hear the speech of Professor Anil Gupta. A big round of applause to him. It's a great inspiration for all of us, and Professor Bhargava also. It's a great thing that a person who wrote part of the NEP is here to tell us all the details. So, and congratulations to all the award winners. On behalf of FICCI, it is my privilege to extend our deepest gratitude to all of you for being part of the 19th HES. Today's inaugural session has truly set the stage for impactful discussions on our theme, Changing Paradigms of Higher Education in the Global Landscape. As we conclude this inaugural session, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for being here and contributing to the success of this event. Your presence today reflects the importance of the discussions we are about to embark on regarding the future of higher education. A special thank you to our esteemed guests on the dais, Ms. Jyoti Vaj, the Director General of FICCI, whose visionary leadership has been crucial in bringing this summit to life. Thank you, ma'am. And special thanks to Dr. Vidya, Chair of FICCI HEC and Pro-Chancellor of Symbiosis International University, for her invaluable insights. Thank you, ma'am. And a special thanks to Ms. Lindy Cameron, CBOBE, British High Commissioner to the Republic of India, for your inspiring remarks that have enriched our perspectives today. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to express our sincere thanks to the policymakers, government officials, industry and education leaders present. Your inputs and deep understanding of the sector are vital as we navigate this evolving educational landscape. The thoughtful insights shared during this inaugural session have already given us the strong foundation for the conversation that will follow today and tomorrow. To our respected jury members, thank you for your expertise and contributions that have helped in elevating the standard and quality of Higher Education Excellence Awards. Lastly, I extend heartfelt thanks to all our partners and participants for your commitment to advancing higher education. Your presence and input will guide us as we explore these critical issues for the next 2 days. Thank you once again, and I look forward to continuing success tomorrow. Thank you.